any of the white people who are concerned about whether Kamala Harris is black enough? Let me answer this question for you. If this was 65 years ago, would she be able to go into the whites only bathroom? Young black man, just be who you are. Young black man, you were meant to be a star. Young black man, keep yourself away from violence. Back at you with another video, and can the black Republicans please stand up? Please stand up. Because at this point, I don't know who is running Trump's campaign and who keeps making him think his talking points to black people are going to work. And before all of the Republicans come in and say black people are gonna vote for Trump this election, he's gonna get 50% of the black vote, let me explain something to you. You people, especially the white ones, you people do not live in community with black people. I am sorry. Like, let me be the bearer of bad news here. You're arguing with a man who lives in community with black people, also shares a skin color with black people, an identity and ideology and a way of life with African American, Spanish Americans, Asian Americans. Now, Asian Americans, they're kind of on their own thing. They vote how they vote. But let me explain to you something. When you come in my comment section, whether that be my social media or my YouTube channels, and try to explain to me that 50% of the black vote is going to go to Trump this election, I just don't think you understand how stupid you sound. Like, most of you don't have black friends. Like, honestly, like, let's be real. Like, you might have black people that you, like, are friendly with, but they're not your black friends. And the black people that you see talk about Trump and say they're voting for Trump, listen, they are on their own. They're living in their own type of delusion. And I'm not saying it's solely based off the fact that I just dislike Trump. It's not that I dislike Trump. It's that I dislike everything that surrounds him. I dislike the ideology. I dislike his friend groups. I dislike his policy. I dislike the policy of the governors, senators, and Congress people that support him. I dislike everything about this current Republican MAGA party, period. You're cowards. You cry too much. Like, you remember when, like, because you know what white people love to talk about is they love to talk about the switch from when Republicans were the more progressive party, and then it switched to the Democrats, right? And what we are watching here is that conservatives are now becoming, especially this current MAGA party, is now becoming the liberals that they hate. And I say that to say, all you do is cry and complain on the internet all day. All day. Everyone's against you. Everyone hates you. You're the victim. Trump's good. Everyone's bad. You don't believe government. You don't believe science. You don't believe your daughters. You don't believe your sons. You don't believe the stats. You don't believe the facts. You don't believe the polls. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I said all of that just to say, what the fuck is Trump talking about?
A small number of people relatively going to the Capitol, but you never see the picture of the crowd. The biggest crowd I've ever spoken, I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me.
Yep.
If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people, if not, we had more. And they said he had 1 million people, but I had 25,000 people. But when you look at the exact same picture, and everything's the same because it was the fountains, the whole thing, all the way back to from Lincoln to Washington, and you look at it, and you look at the picture.
Yo, honestly, why did he say that? Like, yo, honestly, what's going on in this man's brain where that was like, oh, yeah, let me come. Like, we can assume that the Million Man March didn't have exactly 1 million people. Like, but it was a lot of people. It was, well, Republicans have to explain this to, like, no. Don't explain to me a thing. This man is losing his mind. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This man is losing his mind. Genuinely. I don't know what is going on here. Like, you know what happened is by comparison, when we looked at Trump and Biden side by side, we were going, both of these men are old and senile, but one just looks worse. One just looks seemingly worse. And I am going to vote Harris this election. But I remember getting on the phone with one of my boys who's a Trump supporter, and he asked me about the debate, and I said, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 with you. Biden looks horrible. He looks bad. He sound bad, but that doesn't mean Trump looked good. Trump just got up on that debate stage and lied about everything. Like, they'll be like, "Hey, what do you think about the war in Ukraine and Russia?" And they'll be like, "No, no, 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 no. Wait, because they're prosecuting me illegally. They're prosecuting their political. No, but Mr. President, what about Ukraine? No, because and they said and then they took me to court for this woman I never touched. It's like, all right, Biden's old and he's falling asleep, but this man's over here just on a different type of ramble, a word salad. So now that you have Kamala Harris here, and someone who seemingly is more sane, more stable, more mentally capable, he is in shambles. This man he just called a press conference himself. He just called a press conference, like not his PR team, not his campaign team. He's like, you know what? I'll do a PR campaign. And then just was like, Martin Luther, it's just, what are we talking about? Like, I know it's impossible to get the MAGAs to concede to anything, but you're not going to sit here and tell me this man doesn't seem to be crashing out. He's crashing out. And still, we're, 3 months from an election, 90 days from an election? This man hasn't put out a policy. He hasn't talked about policy yet. Says, the economy's trash. I'm going to fix it. And I'm like, how? How are you gonna fix it? Like, if you just, like, his whole run has just been, the border is open and the economy's bad, even though statistics show the economy's doing relatively okay. And when we talk about inflation and gas prices, you live under a capitalistic society, and you, like, I don't get why people don't understand basic economic supply and demand, and why we got to argue about why prices is going up and how the president can control that. Like, you either want the government out of business or you want them in business. Because what it sounds like is that you guys want the government to come in and say, "Hey, Hershey, you're charging $1 more than what you was 5 years ago. We don't like that, because the people don't like that, so now you got to change your prices." And that's not what you want. You live under a capitalistic society, which means people get to make the prices, and as long as y'all keep buying Hershey's not going to lower them shits. Like, it just, whatever. I'm going on a tangent. Anyways, to the Republicans, your man's crashing out. He's a weirdo. Your whole campaign is weird. Like, the whole campaign, your whole run you've got going on this last, like, 3 or 4 weeks has been weird. I'm in Fox News forums, and it's a plethora of white people arguing whether or not Kamala Harris is black enough. Like, we finally have reached the point of no return when groups of white people are now determining when black women or black people in general are black enough. Let me answer the question for you. Anyone who is concerned about any of the white people who are concerned about whether Kamala Harris is black enough, let me answer this question for you. If this was 65 years ago, would she be able to go into the whites only bathroom? With that being said, I'm out.